question is this a missed opportunity? Should we have, like the United States and some other countries, have worked on some of these processes parallelly, where the government in conjunction with private enterprise would have ensured by preparing to scale up in advance? The moment the vaccination permissions came through and these vaccines were cleared through the trials, we'd be able to roll out at scale. If you look at the graph right now, from about the early part of April, is the worms just been coming down. Is this, according to you, Mr. Narendran, would you accept a missed opportunity?
Yeah, the wisdom of hindsight, yes.
Just before Mr. Narendran comes on, I also want to talk about something else. There is a lot of missed opportunities in idle capacities in the government system, which we have not used. I want to point that out. There is a large facility in Chennai which has been idle for years, and that is something we ought to have commissioned a long time ago.
No, but the government did issue some, invited people to come and tender and start using them, and nobody came forward because those facilities haven't been used for years. So we'll build on this. But Mr. Narendran, do you think India's vaccine ramp-up process is actually a failed process when it comes to ensuring that you had adequate capacity at the time at which it was needed?
Yeah, the wisdom of hindsight, yes, certainly we should have done things much faster. I think, there was a period in time when everyone took it easy because the cases were lower. I would also say that even at that point in time, there was a lot of vaccine hesitancy because people felt that there was no need for a vaccination. And I can say that even at the corporate level, when we checked people who were eligible for vaccination in the middle of March, it was just 40% of the people who were eligible for vaccination had vaccinated themselves. So we had to run campaigns to get people to vaccinate themselves. And of course, come April and everyone wanted to get vaccinated. So I think, obviously, we could have ramped up earlier. We could have placed orders earlier. We could have got vaccines earlier. We should have overcome vaccine hesitancy earlier. But that's the wisdom of hindsight. I think having said that, I think we should focus on moving faster going forward, making sure that more and more people are vaccinated before you have a wave 3, and certainly plan for a wave 3 in many different ways because issues could be very different at that point in time.
So you're speaking to the manufacturers of all the different vaccines in India, whether it's Covishield, Covaxin, whether it's the BioE subunit vaccine, Zydus Cadila, Novavax, which again is Serum Institute, the Sputnik vaccine. The government's data that was put out says that they will be able to ensure manufacturing capacity, the production capacity of 216 crore doses. That's more than India needs. Is that based in fact, or is this just a government under pressure trying to show high numbers so that people get a sense of confidence that there is a vaccine coming without panicking? Mr. Narendran.
I think the sense we're getting is by August, we should have at least 150 to 180 million vaccines available per month. That's a sense we're getting based on the conversations that we are having. And obviously, we as industry are preparing for that. CII is preparing for that. We're getting members to aggregate the requirements. We are coordinating between the vaccine manufacturers, the hospitals who need to actually place the orders, and the members who need to go to the hospitals to get the vaccination done. So there's a lot of work going on that, so that as the vaccines are available, hopefully more available in June than we have in May for the private sector, we will be able to roll out the vaccination to support what the government is already doing. So yes, there is a steep ramp up which is being planned, but as Kiran and Suchitra said, the preparation has not just started happening. I think the preparation has been going on for some time. The orders have been placed. I think the monies have been paid. And so there's confidence that if the vaccine manufacturers produce what they can produce, it will flow in through the system. And I think that's what we're working towards.
Dr. Trehan, the government's target of 216 crore doses between August and December this year, is this achievable? What do you make of the plan laid out by Dr. Suchitra Ella for Bharat Biotech and the overall plan that the government is now working on?
So there are three issues here. On one hand, as elaborated by my colleagues on the panel, and actually gave some sobering thoughts about how the process is complicated and that you should not be pressurizing to say, produce more, produce more. It's a process which has to be done. And the compliment to all the people who manufacture, especially Bharat Biotech, is that they did a remarkable job in a short time. So that's one part of it. If you aggregate all the promises and the potentials that we have in this country to manufacture incremental doses, we need to reach 20 crore doses a month. With that, you can say with the 200 crore doses that we need, by the end of this year, we would have at least accomplished what we are claiming that we will do by October, November. But the point is, on the way, if we reach a critical mass, and the critical mass has two components. One is those people who have already been infected and developed some immunity. The other, in addition to that, are people who have been vaccinated. If you aggregate all of them, and we reach about 70%, 80% of our population is protected, then the rest of the 20% become, by all calculations, like what we call herd immunity or the natural shield. Then we are now in a very comfortable stage, and it doesn't matter if the rest of the 20 crore people will be vaccinated by November, December. So we already have done 20 crore doses. Not that 20 crore people have been vaccinated, 20 crore doses. Now you subtract that from 200 crore doses that we need to achieve our vaccination target. If you're saying it is 180, and by July, if we can reach 20 crores, which the potential seems like, that it is incremental, then the second part kicks in, our ability to vaccinate. Fortunately, we have enough facilities on the ground, enough army of vaccinators that we can deliver those 20 crores per month. So that is taken care of. Now the basic thing is, if there is wanting for vaccines, where else can we go? And right now, there are different views coming from the rest of the world to say, US has now surplus, UK may have surplus, you hear Australia has surplus, Europe may have surplus. So if this aggregated into another 20, 30 crores that we can acquire in this period, we would have a winner on our hands, because this deficiency is for the next 3 months. Now, if we can really lay our hands on the vaccine internationally, and I think the industry has put out international tenders, the state governments have put out international tenders, the central government has put, and the search is on. And there was a report today that our foreign minister is going to the US with top of the agenda being vaccine. So not only should we leverage what we can do in India, but try to leverage what is available around the world. Now, the second often used adage now, that nobody's safe till everybody's safe. Now, that's a truism. That truism is there because, as you have noticed, the first mutation that appeared in UK came to India, and if you study Maharashtra and the NCR region, a large proportion of these people were infected by the variant from UK. UK first estimated that this would spread faster but would not be as virulent as the first virus. It turned wrong. It was proven wrong in UK.
So how serious, according to you, is the concern that there could be a mutation between now and November, December, which makes Dr. Ella's vaccine redundant, or at least the immunity that is built is not adequate to chase the mutant away or keep the mutant away?
It is a possibility. Dr. Ella, I'm sure, has given a lot of thought to it. The whole environment is looking at what do we have to do, like happens in the flu vaccine, that there are elements in which they actually introduce new elements to match the virus. So it is going to be a cat and mouse game for some time. But once you reach that herd immunity, once you've reached your targets, then these mutations may or may not be able to play havoc with us.
Dr. Ella, are you concerned about the prospect of a mutation occurring which makes your vaccine far less effective than it is at this moment?